and I'm going to throw out something that I've thrown out a couple of times already. Just going to do it again because it does seem like a thing that people lose track of or that's not really widely known. But this breathwork practice that I will be, by the way, talking about tomorrow in greater detail, really has profound effects and can reduce cortisol and all the different things that are good to reduce in the context of stress and anxiety. It is not, so I always want to put this out. If you please make sure that there's any other physiological reasons why you might be experiencing sort of the kind of what you might describe as stress or anxiety or panic attacks, those sorts of things, because there could be physiological reasons why you're experiencing those things. But absent those, if in fact you're healthy and there's no other reason why you might be experiencing these things, this breathing practice literally neurologically does undo, or I don't know about undo, that's probably not a great way to say it, but it does actually profoundly affect the very systems that create this anxiety thing that we experience when it is sort of that neurologically based anxiety connected to the fight flight system. Oh, this is another, so yeah, let me throw this out too. So we have fight, flight, and freeze. There's a fawn thing that has come out, and I just want to do one of the things that I generally do a lot of, to stand up against this notion of fawning, because my understanding of fawning, I could be wrong. If anybody has a different understanding of what fawning is that's outside of what I'm about to describe, please let me know at the email address that I just flashed up on the screen. Also at this website where you can get in touch with me as well. But fawning meaning the idea of caring for somebody who's generating stress or anxiety for you as a kind of some kind of a flip. So it's all this complexity that always really drives you crazy. And one of the reasons why I do want to stand up against this notion is because it puts the person in the caring position in describing that person as doing something wrong or somehow being wrong. These are always sorts of things that I want to stand up against. Also, the fawning position, which I'm not sure how it relates. I'm not sure how it actually connects to the basic neurological basis for the other two, at least fight, flight, freeze, maybe, but freeze really isn't a great one either, because at least my experience of why animals other than us freeze is because they're in a situation that makes no sense to them. And so that wouldn't be a biologically based thing. It would be sort of a kind of a reasoning response to what's going on. The sort of the deer in the headlights thing. The thing about the deer in the headlights thing is that headlights are not a natural phenomenon, and the deer trying to understand what the heck is going on around them is not a response to a natural phenomenon. Where the fight flight thing does seem to be linked to our limbic systems, neurologically based, and then the breathing practice is a stand against those neurological things that also, because it's all kind of the same thing, isn't it? The thing about the fight flight response is that it's great, except if you're doing that in response to the fact that you haven't paid your taxes, or that you just got a parking ticket, or that somebody just sideswiped your car, or that all these things that actually, aside from the sideswiping of the car, let's say that somebody sideswiped your car, but you weren't in it. And then you get into this place where your response, your physiological response, is one that's supposed to be limited to and only for terminal, dangerous, life-threatening situations, which none of those are. And how we've gotten to a place in our culture where we experience that response in relation to non-life-threatening situations is a question we all need to be asking. It's a huge thing. And so these other two things similarly are physiological beings responding to something that doesn't really make any sense in the first place. And so the breath practice, what it does is, at least for me, it brings me back to an awareness of what's actually going on around me, so I can be in that place, which is generally okay. And as you realize I don't stay safe, and I talked a lot about why I don't stay safe. I tell you, okay, so I can actually evaluate in this space that I'm in right now if I'm okay. I'm okay. And so if I'm in that anxiety place, it's because there's a mismatch between what my mind's doing to me and what's actually going on around me. So that's some stuff to think about for today. That's what's next with Dr. Joel. I'm Dr. Joel. I'll be back tomorrow with what's next.